The issue is this. The point I'm bringing up is Donald Trump, no new wars. Donald Trump timeline for withdrawing our troops in the Middle East. Donald Trump tried to get our troops out of Syria. He was lied to, and they maintained our troop presence in there. Donald Trump also made mistakes. Firing 59 Tomahawk missiles into Syria was stupid. They targeted an airport, and Syria had forewarning that it was going to happen. So I don't think there was any injuries, which was a weird, stupid thing. They say Donald Trump increased drone strikes. Well, yeah, as you're withdrawing your troop presence and you want to maintain security, you're going to use drones, and that's a good short-term answer to pulling our troops out. Donald Trump negotiating peace agreements in the Middle East. Donald Trump negotiating peace with North Korea. And then I talk to libertarians, and they're booing and screaming and smashing the wall saying Trump bad. And I'm like, dude, if you want to live in a utopia where an empire built over 100 years is dismantled in 2 seconds, go play Civilization, enter in a console command that disables empire and dissolves one of your enemy nations. If you want to live in the real world, you have to recognize that the best thing we've gotten in 40 years in terms of ending war has been Donald Trump. And there are libertarians who are like, no, boo. And I'm like, okay, then live in your utopia and win nothing. And that's what we get. Nothing. So that's why I'm like, Chase Oliver, that was hilarious. The Libertarian Party has done so well with under Angela with the rise of the Mises Caucus. But this one was just said, I guess I could ask for nothing more because this means the Mises Libertarians are probably voting for Trump. So I'll take it.
You're a Mises guy, right?
Hardcore, yeah.
Okay, so can you explain what happened with your presidential pick this year?
Oh, man.
Oh, boy.
Alas.
Oh, wait, with the presidential pick, or are you asking what happened to get Chase Oliver?
Yeah, how did we get to Chase Oliver?
Yeah, I'll try to make it as succinct as possible. A lot of people were on board with Dave Smith. For a while, Dave Smith was openly flirting on running. And he's since, said, I apologize for bowing out. It's a family decision. I'm going to respect that about him. But Mises took it within their own gumption to explore some other candidates. The who's who gamut of the biggest libertarians in the country were talked to, I know, by Michael Heiss, the chair of the Mises Caucus. And eventually Michael Rechtenwald agreed to do this. He was one of the prominent libertarians that agreed to do this. He's an expert on DEI, ESG, et cetera. I think he's been here talking to you guys. And it was basically old guarders generally supporting Chase. That's very simplistic. There were other candidates involved. And the hardcore Mises people supporting Rechtenwald. It went through 8 rounds, I believe. And the third place guy, Mike Termott, made a deal with Chase Oliver to be his vice president and essentially throw his endorsement behind him. It moved enough of the room.
To be fair, I mean, Rechtenwald, I don't understand why he was the choice. Why was he the Mises choice?
Many alternatives were talked to and turned it down, and he was considered one of the most prominent ones that were considered for it. He's an expert in several fields. He's brilliant on wokeness, DEI, ESG, stuff like that.
Can you maybe tell me why Chase Oliver was appealing to the old guard of libertarians? Because it's interesting to me that, I know it was kind of contentious this year, but you reelected Angela, the Mises chair, which is fascinating. But then still you're saying, ultimately there were enough people supporting non-Mises candidates to pick this guy. He's definitely not someone I would pick, but obviously I'm not a member of the party. I don't know what the internal workings like.
No, I can totally understand that confusion. It's a few things. One of it is that the presidential race ended very late in the night on the last Sunday night when many Mises people had gone home. It looked like attrition hurt us more than the opponents that we kind of waged this.
So actual Mises delegates didn't vote?
Some of them didn't because some of them went home. They had plane tickets that were going home.
Oh my God.
We tried to tell people stay till Monday. We kept saying it. And then another reason is that Angela actually has, you wouldn't know it from Twitter all the time, but she has a broad amount of appeal from a lot of what we call friendlies or people that are kind of indisposed. So I can understand the confusion behind that. The difference there.
Yeah, because I definitely feel like the things that I've heard about the Libertarian Party is definitely this embracing of the Mises Caucus, but it is interesting that then you have this guy who I don't think is very representational of that segment of the party. But it does speak to the fact that Libertarian as a party actually has to bridge a greater divide ideologically than maybe other, Republicans or Green Party or, whatever else.
The Libertarians nominated the pro-vaccine mandate guy.
I don't know if he ever explicitly said that, but he did push COVID propaganda at the height of the COVID regime.
He said he opposes the government mandating it, but he's for businesses being allowed to mandate. And anybody who's paying attention would know that anybody who has a memory, the mandates were actually private.